and welcome to another interview in the TEDxAinleyTopWomen journey to TED. Today I'm joined by a very beautiful soul, an amazing and incredible business coach as well. And so I'm going to let her introduce herself. So who are you and what do you do?
Hi Cheryl, thank you for having me today. It's great to speak to you. My name is Leela Singh. I am a personal brand consultant, leadership coach and corporate trainer.
And how did you find about TEDx? How did you find out about TEDx Ainley Women? Because obviously we're talking about the journey. So at the beginning of the journey, how did you find out about the opportunity to possibly speak at the event?
Yeah, so I'm, like yourself, part of the Professional Speakers Academy. And as such, I had seen a post that you placed in Facebook, in the group Facebook, about the event that you were looking to run. I'm not sure if at the time you fully decided about running it. I just remember you putting the idea out there and you asked for ideas about if you were to do a TEDx talk, what would you speak about? So I had initially responded to that. That's how I found out about it.
And how did you find out about the topic then? Because obviously I wanted to know what you wanted to speak about, because you know, I kind of anticipate that there'd be quite a lot of interest in this, particularly in that space, as well as the space within the Find Your Why Foundation that I run. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to have 200 people all wanting to speak about motivation or something. How did you decide on your topic?
I decided on it because partly I'd always had it on my my radar, my vision board, that I would like to do a TEDx talk one day. And therefore, as part of that, why would I want to do it? It would be to provide me greater credibility in what I do in my business. So then I took a step back and thought, well, what's the bigger message that I'm really giving? It's about being visible and being more impactful. And then I looked at, well, what's my story behind that? Which is about me starting out in my career being invisible, being very quiet, etc. And thinking about that my story would support the sort of the rationale for me wanting to do a TEDx talk.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so so there you are, you've put forward, this is what you want to talk about, and then I've sent the next stage, which is, so please send a video of yourself. Now, what if at all, I mean, there may be, there may not have been, but what if there was at all any inner battles that you had at that stage? What happened to you when you saw the request for the video?
Initially I was like, oh my God, I got through to the next stage and I need to do the video. And I thought, okay, that's fine. I'm not overly technical, but I know how to record the video. My issue was how to get the video to you, but I figured I could ask somebody. So that was okay. But what I found myself doing was procrastinating over it, because I can't remember specifically, but I think I felt I needed to sit down and really craft out this talk and then deliver it to camera. And I wasn't getting the time. Now I know that when you're not getting the time, it's because you're distracting, you're procrastinating, you're avoiding something. And I think that's what I was doing. And actually what happened was, I think the deadline was on the Sunday and it was now Saturday morning. And I had popped in to one of the hotels down at Heathrow because a couple of my friends were there at an event. So I popped in to just have breakfast with them because I dropped somebody off at the airport really early in the morning. And then one of them said to me, so what are you doing for the rest of the day? And I was like, oh, I've got to do this video for Cheryl, but just haven't got enough time to get it all done today. She needs it for tomorrow. You know what? I'm not going to bother. And to which the pair of them looked at me and said, well, we've got a stage downstairs. The room's empty. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. And there's a tripod and a camera. Let's go do it. I then went into panic mode because I had no idea what I was going to say, and basically got up on stage. They filmed it and I just started rambling on around the topic, but it wasn't particularly structured at all. I think it gave the content of what I wanted to speak about, but without any particular structure.
Yeah, great. I remember getting that video, and I think it also came with an accompanied 34 paragraphs of, it's not this, it's not, we're not, that's exaggerating. It's just a first attempt. It's not really, it's not, and I was just like, let me just watch the video. because at that stage, of course, the reason for asking for the videos was because I could see, I've been coaching speaker clients, as you know, for a long time, and coaching speaker coaches like yourself. Do you know what I mean? So I can generally see the diamond in the rough, if that makes sense. So it was like, what's the topic about? How are you? Do you look like you might, have a meltdown on stage? And you didn't. You were holding your own. And it's interesting, all the things that you put underneath about what I should maybe look out for. I couldn't see them, or if I did, it's only because you put them in my mind anyway. So then I've come back to you and I've said, okay, need to make it even better by doing X, Y, and Z. You've then sent me another submission in. I don't know if we had another conversation at that. Maybe we did. I think maybe over WhatsApp, etc. And so now you've been told that you are going to be speaking on the TEDx stage. What was that like for you when you found that out?
Again, the first initial thought was, oh my God, wow, I've gotten through it, really excited. And then I went into the kind of, oh shit moment of, am I going to be able to do this? Have I got enough time to prepare properly? What if it goes wrong? So the what ifs, what if I mess up on stage? And I think the bigger picture for me was actually, for me, TEDx is about a video that's going to, assuming it gets approved, it's going to be out there for people to see. And it was, for me, it was actually my past colleagues and thinking, oh my God, they know I chose to leave my career and go off and do whatever I'm doing now. So this video has really got to solidify that. It's got to be perfect, so to speak. Yeah. And I think that it was the fear of judgment, ultimately, of that video going up, which then led me to question myself on it again. And then I think I emailed you and said, thank you for the opportunity, Cheryl, but I think I'll let it go this time. I'll pass this one up. I'll do it next time. Yeah.
My reply was? Can't remember the exact wordings, but I don't think it was over my dead body. I think I just said that's a shame because I don't even know if I'm going to do another one of these. So this is the one opportunity, and I really wanted you to bring a bit of balance to the, because I'd already decided that there were certain types of speakers, so there would be some sort of personal type of speakers talking about personal issues. You was talking about personal issue, but in a kind of a corporate way, and it was bringing the branding in, and I really wanted the audience, because I think at that stage I was only looking for 12 speakers, and so I was looking for people to talk about corporate and personal issues, and have a bit of humor and have some music, and and I was kind of like, oh well, now my jigsaw's missing a corner. How does that work? So I don't remember exactly what I said, but
I think the bit in brackets that I remember you putting in the email was something like you might just be making excuses or finding excuses not to do it, but you also said that I need to put myself out there and do it. So yeah.
Well, particularly because your topic was about being seen. I mean, there was a bit of me that was laughing. I was like really? So it was like, no, this is really you. Because, we talk about this, don't we, when we're coaching, you can sometimes talk about things that are in your radar at the moment. And there's no better way than actually doing what you're preaching to help you as well as help other people. So I think what's really great, Leela, is the fact that, you were talking about something that you genuinely had a problem with, early on in your career, and you that made the decision to then step out of that, to be seen. And now TEDx was going to be another great way for you to be able to be seen. So you help all those people who needed your help, like you were kind of self-coaching, if you like, on that particular event. So that was really, really cool.
Yeah. A couple of things that was actually part of it was because you reassured me as well that you would coach me through it. Yeah. And that was probably one of the biggest points for me, thinking, okay, I'll do this, because I thought, if nothing else, I'll get coaching from you. Because I've seen how amazing you are on stage. I've seen the people that you've coached and the results that they get when they get up on stage, and it's absolutely incredible. So for me, a big part of it was, yeah, I'll get coaching from Cheryl. If nothing else, it all turns to crap afterwards. Was a big part of it. And also, I think it was a case of, okay, let go for people will always judge. People always have something to say, but at least I'll be able to say, I've done this, whatever the end result. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for your comments. And for me, it's a case of like, nobody was going to not go into TED with a great presentation. You know, for your reputation, for my reputation.
Exactly, yeah.
Because TED, you know, let's be honest, TED are quite, what should we say, precise in what they want.
Indeed,
you know, definitely, there were definitely a few more rules than I anticipated right at the beginning, but definite learning curve for all of us. So now here we are. We're on the day of TED. You've arrived, I think maybe probably the night before, because you came up, didn't you, from London? And so you've arrived at the venue. You know, just want you to talk me through, you know, what were you feeling like before your talk, during your talk, and then at the end of doing your talk? How did you feel?
I have to say, I felt so underprepared that day, and I'm used to speaking now professionally. You know, I go and speak at events and companies and so forth, and I've learned to not have that huge amount of nervousness and anxiety before. And I have a little bit of butterflies, but that's it. But I'm not focused on worrying about, oh my God. Whereas with this, I really felt like I was in a bad space. I'd had so much going on the previous few weeks that I just felt I hadn't really committed sufficient time to preparing. I also realized on reflection that that's about being perfect, and you're never going to be perfect. And what is that? What does that look like? But yeah, on the day, I didn't feel in a comfortable space. And when the event actually started and the first few speakers were up there, I just sitting there thinking, oh my God, I have to do right by Cheryl. I have to do, that's all I was thinking. I have to do right by Cheryl. I'm representing Cheryl. I have to do good. And everyone was so eloquent. They delivered beautifully. Like the response in the room and from the audience in the room for everybody, in fact, was just incredible. They were really, really supportive. And I just continued stressing about it pretty much up until a minute before I walked up on stage, which like I said, is not how I am anymore. So it almost took me back to how I used to be when I had to get up and speak at work and do presentations at work. So yeah.
So then you've done your presentation, you've been you've been told to stand on the red dot, otherwise you're not on camera.
Yeah.
The lights are in your eyes, you can't see anything. And you're presenting your presentation. How did you feel while you were doing it, if you had to describe it?
It was genuinely like an out-of-body experience. It was very bizarre, not like any talks I've done before. I don't know, like you said, if it was the setup, you knew you had to stay on this red dot. I then, as I stood up there, realized in front of me is the gangway, which means I have to turn this way and I have to turn that way. So then I'm like, I don't want to, I'm watching a tennis match, so how do I make that look natural? And by that point, I just thought whatever comes out my mouth will come out my mouth. But it just felt really strange. It came out, I always feel it. You always look at something, I do, and feel, yeah, it could have been better. I think it just felt, I was almost, what's the word? Not disengaged, but disassociated a little bit from it. And I was just there, and it was the stuff was just coming out of my mouth. Yeah, it was unreal. Very, very unusual experience. And I believe that's because I had put so much pressure on myself that this had to be good. But I didn't really know what that good looked like anyway. Yeah. And
so afterwards, you finished a talk. Did you go straight into self-analysis after that, or how were you after the talk?
I don't know if you remember, I actually had a bit of a break. I started crying. What was good during it was people were nodding, and I was like, right, this is whatever's coming out is making sense. People are getting it, so that was great. So coming off stage, I thought, right, it landed with people. They understood the message. They got the message. but I think I'd carried so much stress and tension over it. It was almost like this huge release, and I got off, and I actually felt my voice cracking during the talk as well. And for no particular reason, it was at random places. Yeah, so when I came off stage, I think it all just had to release. I just started crying. But after that, when I sort of composed myself, I was still questioning how well it had gone. I wasn't 100%. I would have needed to see that video to determine that.
Yeah. And so, of course, the way that TED works is that, you know, you don't get to see the video. You know, the video go to TED. TED have to then judge it, review it, whatever you want to say. So, of course, there was a period of time. This was 13th of December that we did the events. You know, obviously the guys who'd done the filming, Rebecca, who'd done the filming at RAP. She then had to get all those videos to me, and in the end, of course, I decided that we would have 20 speakers, not 12. So there's a lot of work to do. So post Christmas, I got the videos, and then we're topping and tailing them. That we can't change the videos at all. We can't edit it. We can't do anything with it other than send it to TED. And then, of course, you know, I'm saying, right, okay, the videos have gone to TED, and now it's a waiting game. You know, they're going to have a lot of videos from the women events that have been done around the world. So we just have to wait and see. And actually, I was really super impressed with TED, because they got, you know, the first batch of videos that were approved started to come through, didn't they? And we created this WhatsApp group for the TEDxAinleyTopWomen, and like it was like, oh my god, I think Caroline was one of the ones who was sort of on alert. She was like, Leila, your video's up. Leila, your video's up. You need to, you know. And then at that stage, you've seen that your video's up. You go to YouTube and you're looking at it. How are you feeling at this stage?
Well, so that day, if you remember, we're actually at a training event.
Oh yeah, we were. I remember. Yeah.
So you told me that it had come through and it had been approved. And because a part of me still questioned whether it would get approved for no particular rational reason, but it's just that in the dialogue we have. And then you said it had been approved. And that was probably before lunchtime that day. It wasn't until I'd gotten into bed that night that I was able to actually sit and watch it back. That's not because I was too busy. That was because I wasn't ready to sit and watch it back. I don't generally like watching myself on camera anyway. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my God, like, what is this going to be like? So again, it was that whole feeling of, I'm excited. Oh my God, it's gotten approved. It's going to get out there. People are going to see I've done a TEDx. At the same time, I was like, is it good enough? Am I good enough? Yeah. And to be fair, when I watched it back, I was like, yeah, it's better than I thought it was.
Well, surprised in your mind it was going to be a disaster. I was like, it wasn't a disaster. It was brilliant. You held your own. You did your message. You got your message out there. And I know what you mean about this kind of out of body experience, because I've had that as a speaker myself. You know, back in the day, where it's like, whereas now it's a different kind of experience I have, because it's still kind of out of body, because I can never remember whatever I've said. You know, it kind of just comes through you. You know, we were taught, weren't we? You know, don't practice within an inch of the presentation. Practice before, then turn up, go on empty, and whatever comes out will come out. And that definitely happened there. And it was great. So that was really interesting that you didn't look at it until the evening, didn't they? So now TEDx talk is up there. What was the title of your talk again?
It was Invisible to Visible: Why Hard Work is Never Enough.
Yeah, good. So we will put a link in this post, of course, for everyone to be able to see it, even more people to see you, so that you're not invisible, of course, and you can help other people. So what have been the positives since the TEDx AinleyTopWomen video for you?
I think for me, the positives have been, for me, the pride and the sense of achievement that I've done it, because I was that close to pulling out. And I would have been kicking myself, I know. Yeah. So it comes back to that old saying of what's the worst that could happen? Just do it. So that was the first thing. I think one of the other things is the ability to be able to share that message. I've had people messaging me and calling me to tell me how good it is. in fact, one family member that I spoke to a couple of weeks ago said, yeah, we've all watched it. This is in a different country. And they said, yeah, we've all watched it. And actually, it's better than we thought it was going to be. Like, okay.
Thank you.
But this is family. And again, they don't necessarily know all of what I do either. So that felt really good to hear that. I think there are people who will perhaps see me in a different light based on some of the comments, in a positive light, but just different from the person that they know. And then I think credibility as well, in terms of the message that I'm getting out there and what I'm doing within my business. So, empowering other people to step up, to speak up, to show up, to be more visible in the workplace, because for me that was my biggest learning, and that's the message I want to get across. Even up to there was an event I was at last year where a lady put her hand up and she said the event was about women on boards. Mm-hmm. And so it was a panel discussion, and she asked a question at the end, and she broke down and she said, I've been in the same company for 30 something years, I've been made redundant, and I don't know what to do. I worked really, really hard. I've done well, but now I don't know what to do. She said, this is the first time I've come to an event like this. I've never networked. I don't even know how to network. And, there are people out there like that, who are even younger. You should be already working 30 something years, but there's people who are starting out who don't know what to do. So I think it is important to get that message out there. So I'm just really pleased that more people could, I've had some great messages back from people as well, who said that it's really kind of almost given them a little kick to go and take action.
Yeah, good.
And that's all I want.
Yeah, and that's the whole concept, behind TED, which is, great ideas to share, to help other people, of course. And so I want to say thank you to you, because actually by being open and being a little bit vulnerable and being honest about how you felt, some people just watching the video in isolation without this kind of journey to TED would just go, well, yeah, of course, she talks about being seen and, that's what she does. And so it'll have been easy for her. So I really want to say thank you so much for being open, because, I think people see you when you're on stage, they think, it's all sorted, everything's great, you've got no worries about it. So, if anybody out there, was looking to think about doing a TEDx talk, mm-hmm. What would you say to them, knowing what you know now?
If you get that opportunity, absolutely grab it. What is the worst that can happen? If nothing else, you get that experience,
Good stuff. Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing with us today and chatting with us today. And of course, we're going to put the link up to your talk so more people can see it. And obviously, if someone wants to contact you, we'll put your details in the post as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheryl. Great to talk to you.